Hello everyone, Matty has some good news about GM, so I'll pass it over to him.
Bonjour all, and hello down there, JM. So it turns out that JM is now back in business. What happened is he lost his job lawn mowing because of the COVID lockdowns, and now that they're no longer in place, he's back mowing lawns. Not just that, but it turns out that a lot of his old customers, because they haven't had their lawns mown in a while, need their lawns mown right now, and the grass is really long. So there's extra demand for his services. So he's thinking about getting a new lawnmower, and we want to think about that choice with him right here. So let's get underway. Now, lawnmower shopping is a lot of fun. Actually, any type of durable goods shopping is a lot of fun. I've just got a new computer myself. But for James, it's become quite urgent. It's not just about fun. His lawnmower has fully depreciated. You can see this because it's currently on fire. Now, given that, he needs to work out whether he's going to keep mowing lawns or whether he's going to invest in a new lawnmower and use that to mow lawns as well. So let's jump in JM's little head. Okay, there it goes. Now, the first thought he gets is that he could get a little cheap lawnmower that still does the trick. What do we got there? We've got a manual push lawnmower. This can be used for mowing the lawns, and it might be a good way for him to get back into business now that he's just restarted. However, he could turn around and get a push lawnmower. This is exactly the same as what he's had previously, so he knows how to use it. However, it does cost more, it requires more fuel, greater maintenance, and on top of that, it doesn't really add anything for him doing new types of services. So it costs more, he's more comfortable with it, it'll be a bit more efficient than that other one. But how about we have a little bit more of a fantasy? If we have a fantasy about the types of lawnmowers we could get, he could turn around and he could get one of these ride-on seated lawnmowers. Now, he can still fit a seated lawnmower in his van, but it mows the lawns more quickly and it's more comfortable for him to do so, which allows him to mow more lawns during the day. Given that extra demand for COVID services, splashing out and getting this larger lawnmower could make a lot of sense. But if we're thinking about that, why stop there? This could be an opportunity for him to invest in something that allows him to expand his lawn mowing business. If he purchases an all-terrain seated lawnmower, he'd be able to mow some of the rougher parts of Wellington, hello Kandala, and he can do so in style. Now, JM's a bit confused about what to do here. He likes these different types of lawnmowers in different ways. They allow him different types of production, but they all have different costs for him. Now, he needs to think through these trade-offs, and he needs a good economist to help him do this. So, Golnara, you're the one that's an expert in investment. Would you be able to talk through investment choices to help us figure out what's going on?
Sure, thanks Matt, and glad we can help GM out with his query. When it comes to thinking about the decision to invest, GM needs to consider the net benefit associated with the investment choice. In terms of the business itself, this can be split into two parts: the revenue product, which constitutes the revenue earned from the output produced, and the cost, which constitutes the expense associated with using that investment to generate that revenue product. Revenue product can itself be split in two: the productivity of the capital item and the price of the sold output. Generally, we would imagine that different capital items will not change the price of the sold output, but will change the amount that can be produced. For example, when comparing the manual push mower and the seated lawn mower, GM will be able to mow the same lawns for the same price, but with the seated mower, he could do it more quickly and so would be able to mow more lawns in the same time. However, GM's final choice, the all-terrain mower, allowed him to serve other markets at a different price. As a result, the choice of capital item does allow GM to receive a higher price. However, this is really another form of productivity, as a new product is being sold that is higher value add. Given the revenue products associated with different investments, the next question GM needs to ask is about the cost. The first obvious part of the cost is the price of the capital item. A more expensive lawnmower costs more, but this is only the start of thinking about the cost. Given an outlay to buy the capital item, there is some cost associated with maintaining and using the item in its productive use. To keep the lawnmower running, there are a series of costs, i.e. fuel, maintenance costs, and as a result, we can think of this as costs associated with undertaking this service which provides revenue. Furthermore, there is a cost of funding the item. If JM needs to borrow to buy the new lawnmower, he will have to pay interest on that loan. If instead JM got Matt to invest in his business to fund the lawnmower, the payment of dividends to Matty would constitute a cost. These costs do include the opportunity cost of funds used. If JM instead used funds he had access to for a new business or to buy a different lawnmower, that would have a net benefit, and as a result, this opportunity cost is the cost of choosing to use the funds in a given way. Putting these concepts together gives the idea of a hurdle rate of return. The one option where the revenue product of selecting that investment is greater than the cost is the one that JM should select. The hurdle rate of return represents the net return as a percentage of the price of the capital item that is required to make the investor indifferent between investing and not. As the opportunity cost is subtracted from the net benefit, the one good choice is the one that crosses this hurdle rate of return for GM. But let's not be so coldly rational. GM loves lawnmowers. This implies that he has personal reasons for valuing forms of lawnmowers. It could be that the lawnmower looks cool. It could be that it feels nice to use. In both cases, there are benefits that we have missed, which suggests that GM may want to choose something that doesn't appear to be the best choice from a cold profit-maximizing calculation. In this case, an economist calls the satisfaction of these preferences a form of consumption. GM is consuming the characteristics of the lawnmower, and since those give him a benefit, they form part of his choice. However, let's not forget that GM has just come out of a big life shock. As we noted in the prior video, he was made unemployed due to demand for his lawn mowing services disappearing. When we discussed this unemployment, we noted there could be a number of reasons for it, and one that we know plays on GM's mind is technological unemployment. I mean, look at this cheeky robot lawnmower. As a result, even though demand for his services is high now, he expects this to normalize in the future. Furthermore, he's uncertain about the future state of the world. Perhaps post-COVID people love having others nearby, and so his job is safe, but perhaps robot lawnmowers are just sitting around the corner waiting to pounce. By investing, he takes the cost of buying the lawnmower upfront, but his return is uncertain due to this demand uncertainty. Furthermore, what happens if he decides to close up and do something in a year? What is the price he could sell his lawnmower for? Or what happens if he decides to delay buying a specific lawnmower for a year? In these cases, the price of the investment item in a year matters, and he is uncertain regarding what this price will be. Finally, if GM is going to borrow or sacrifice existing savings, he is doing so partially on the basis of an expectation of future interest rates. If future interest rates change but the debt remains, the cost of maintaining that debt will also change, and the restriction to these opportunities in life will also be dependent on this. These uncertainties combine to increase the hurdle rate of return for making investment from our prior discussion. If people perceive that we are in a much more uncertain environment, then keeping their options open and delaying investment has greater value. As a result, the unemployment shock that GM faced may be something that plays on his mind, increasing his perception of risk and making him more nervous about buying a brand new lawnmower. Let's sum things up for GM. We are economists, and so we are not qualified to give investment advice. All we ask is that you try to come to a measured understanding of the costs and benefits associated with the different lawnmowers, and then ask yourself what your tolerance for risk is. The more you are willing to take on risk, the better the all-terrain lawnmowers is looking. The more you are feeling scarred by your unemployment experience, the better the manual push lawnmower is looking. With GM's advice given, that's us for today. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time.